I have the honor and pleasure to host you this morning on the conference on impact of corruption on the enjoyment of human rights. In a situation where corrupt acts of duty bearers, public servants, public officers, civil servants lead to a scarcity or misappropriation of resources to the extent that the state, the government, is unable to provide public services. For example, medicine, medical services, education, basic livelihoods, to satisfy the needs of the citizenry.
Last year, the Gambia was ranked 110 out of 180 countries by Transparency International Corruption Perception Index, and we were given a score of 34%. In other words, they listed us as one of the many corrupt countries in the world. When NHRC saw this, we were not happy.
There is a linkage between corruption and the enjoyment of fundamental human rights. In fact, the Committee on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights has indicated that corruption constitutes one of the major obstacles to the effective promotion and protection of human rights, particularly as regards the activities of businesses. The committee further states that corruption undermines a state's ability to mobilize resources for the delivery of services essential for the realization of economic, social, and cultural rights.
Section 37 of the Anti-Corruption Bill. It says that a person who been or having been a public officer is in possession of unexplained wealth through himself or herself or another person maintains a standard of living above that which is commensurate with his or her present or past official emoluments. This, for me, was a key provision. And, the National Assembly has decided that it doesn't belong in the Anti-Corruption Bill. But I don't think it's too late to ask them to bring it back.
The Anti-Corruption Bill states that the president cannot remove the commissioners. Just like that, there are predefined conditions which must be investigated by the vetting committee, and that vetting committee is headed by the judge of the Court of Appeal. So that also guarantees the security of tenure for commissioners that are executing their legal mandate in investigating and prosecuting corruption cases.
For me, my position here is that all independent institutions, all institutions that we call independent, anybody working there as a commissioner must actually be scrutinized. And what I mean by scrutiny is that their appointments should not be just as is happening in the office of the ombudsman. I would prefer, if it is not there, let it be in line with what is happening in the Human Rights Commission, that the position should be advertised and people apply for it, rather than at least the president appointing, and then you have people who are not suitable for the position and you cannot get rid of them.
When we ask people about, regarding the Commission of Inquiry into local government, they are concerned with regards to whether, some steps would be taken to address, the corruption, those who have been indicted in the corruption-related activities. And interestingly, about 57% said that the recommendation will not be implemented.
How effective is the civil society organization in the Gambia? Because we have seen recent happenings, especially with local government authorities, where we see apparently evidence has indicated that there are some kind of like officials that have been found wanting for malpractices or mismanagement of funds. But again, we have seen a greater interference of government within those processes. But yet again, there has never been any pronouncement from the civil society organization to condemn this act.
We all know corruption takes place only when there are weak institutions. When the institutions are weak, that's where corruption thrives. And corruption is an enabling environment. Now, what can we do to address this? And this is where we talk about some of the strategies that civil society employ. One of the enabling factors in the public sector, if these CSOs can do, is by stepping up to help government strengthen these institutions so they can function accordingly.
For me, even the corruption that we talk about in Gambia, I say look at it as chicken change corruption. Because what is coming is from the recurrent budget, what is collected from everyone, then some people will take it away. But what we are not talking about is the resources that this country have that we are not talking about exploring and seeing so that everybody will get enough, the natural resources. Here, it seems like we behave as if we don't have an ocean. But if you go there also, the level of corruption around those sectors is another level.
How does corruption impact political participation? For example, vote buying is a violation of the right to vote because it restricts the free choice of citizens and affects the electoral process by undermining its legitimacy.
Over the years, apart from the financial audit, we introduced performance audit. The difference with performance audit is that it goes beyond the mere arithmetical accuracy of financial transactions to look at the effects that they have on the citizenry. I think that's a step forward in our fight against corruption.
Yes, we don't have an anti-corruption act or institution, anti-corruption commission as well. But I believe the current constitution and laws and the existing institutions, state institutions that exist, our courts, the Office of the Attorney General, the National Assembly itself, the NHRC, the police, the Ombudsman, among others, are all well placed to prevent, to detect, and to punish corruption.
Corruption has become a much bigger problem where it became the bedrock upon which the society is established. We were doing a story on illegal timber trade, and there was this taxi driver who was taking us around because we were following some of the trucks with drones. And, you know, I gave him an an experience that there was one of the traders who had offered to give us $1 million. And this is a guy in his 50s. And he jumped and said, why didn't you ask him to give you a fully furnished compound? I thought he would have said, you rejected it, right? And he said, why didn't you? He even suggested what I should have done.
When we talk about corruption, I am with the notion, yes, institutions can be corrupt, but the society itself plays a role. And I want to stay with this again. Imagine a taxi driver driving with you is giving you, instead of discouraging you, is even encouraging you at the higher side of corruption. Then where do we go?
It is the responsibility of the National Assembly to come up with progressive laws in our collective drive towards combating what? Corruption. It is also the responsibility of the National Assembly to make sure that when those laws are promulgated, once they are codified, they are followed through every stage of implementation to see to it that they are serving the purpose for which they were what? Promulgated for.
Maybe from the streets we hear the anti-corruption bill. The key component of that bill that was strike out is illicit enrichment. We all know that that is the fabric of corruption in this country. The bill is lost. Forget about it. Don't pass it. It has no value. Corruption in this country in other countries is vertical, but here is horizontal. Starting from the village, the community, the family. People are selling land. Land is the biggest asset of the poor. They depend on it and the right to land. They are selling it because of corruption. Corrupt persons have set families asunder. You come to the VDCs. We did a perception survey in the country some time back. They said even the VDCs are corrupt.
I want to thank all of you who participated in this convergence, the panelists especially. If corruption is not tackled, it will actually destroy a society completely. What is our value system? When people are telling you, "Yo danga nyaka faida," this is exactly what they're telling you. Because they feel that if you're not corrupt, kide yakam tiwut adunam. These are things that happen. If the value system changes in a society, once it disappears, it's difficult to get back. When we wanted to hold this convergence, there was nervousness. What is the National Human Rights Commission trying to do?
No, this is our country. It is important that we start talking about these issues. Let us unpack it. And that's what we started doing today, unpacking corruption. This is the beginning. Next year, inshallah, we will come back and we will have a grand one with other thematic areas. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks.